Hi guys, thanks for coming. Right, we'll kick off the session today. I'll let her be on the phone until I'll do a song and dance until she finishes. We are lucky today to have. I'm sorry, Colin, you have to bear with me. Hey, so today we are actually lucky to have Grace. Right, today Grace is not going to do any presentation, slides and all, but I think we have a chat and she thinks that we should try on the discussion type of session rather than a presentation, right? So as you know, Grace actually has been a journalist in Straits Times for the longest time, right? And she, I think, started Computer Times and then handed it over. And basically, in the last couple of years, she has been on the tech entrepreneur side of Straits Times. And I think recently she just retired and started her own little stuff called TechHour, right? Which is quite interesting if you go and search, right? So she writes reviews on technology and what's happening on technology in her little blog, right? So go and visit TechHour if you guys have time, okay? Deep discussion still. So a good time to think. She's going to cover tech entrepreneurism in Singapore, right? Perhaps what you guys could think about is that what questions you have for her, right? So that she can give you her perspective, right, of the environment in our land. Okay? Yeah.
I already asked you the question that I have.
Which is?
What's up with the Lee family?
What's it got to do with entrepreneurism? That's a good point. Yeah. So that affects entrepreneurism, right?
Venture funding.
Yeah, venture funding. Yeah, it's quite interesting. And a good friend of mine, I only saw it in the first thing in the morning, but a good friend of mine reposted it, right? And that's Cherry George. So he is not in town, but he's still covering, things happening now then. So Grace, how?
Yep.
You ready?
Yes.
Okay. You can go now. Without further ado, Grace Chng.
Hello. Good afternoon. Am I standing between you and lunch? No.
No.
Okay.
Maybe you can sit.
Okay.
Then you don't have to walk around.
Right. So, I thought I was talking to startup entrepreneurs, but all of you are experienced, so I don't know what I share will be relevant to all of you, but I'm going to talk young startups. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to talk about communications, something I know well, and today I thought I would like to focus more on internal comms rather than external comms. External comms is something we all know quite well, PR, media, publicity, but I thought that I want to share something on internal comms because as I discovered talking to entrepreneurs and startups and young and old, your internal comms is as important as your external comms, and it does have a link. Yeah. So bear with me. It's not going to be a one-way street. Please interject, ask questions at any time you want to. Right. So first thing about internal comms, I have got a couple of points. One, it's about culture. It's about people. And why I say about people is I will try and put all of this, link it all to current examples today, and then you will understand. When you deal with your own staff, you deal with your own staff as you would deal with yourself. So you want to have respect, right? You respect people. It's about things as simple as being punctual and courteous. Right? It is also about accuracy within your internal communications. Accuracy means efficiency, it means productivity. Try and do it once so that you don't have to repeat it. We talk about authentic. I know it's quite difficult. Authentic leadership is what all the MBA schools talk about. mean, I meet many people, and some of them, all of them would say they're authentic leaders, but you can see through the smile, does it come from their eyes, or it's just a turn of their lip, you know. So, do you really care about whether I was caught in the rain, you know, or is it just lip service? Hey, you know, Happy New Year, here's the angpao for your children. And then 2 minutes, and then really you go on and don't really know about this person. So I think authentic leadership goes beyond just being honest and being true. But I think, do you care? I think that's important. And this care must come through. For some people it's natural. For some people it's learned. For some people it's learned and then it becomes natural. Yeah. So it's not easy. So why do all these three things matter? These three things matters because you want to treat your customers well. So you treat your staff well, you're likely to treat your customers well. So the biggest example today that we have touches on all of these points is Uber. Scream at your staff, you scream at the driver. Right? Sexual harassment in the office, sexual harassment outside. You spy on your own people, you're likely to spy on the journalists. So these things, when you have internal comms and you put these down as, I don't know what you will call it, is it your DNA, is it your value system? But if you put them all together so that it's a way for you to deal with your people, and this is the way you deal with your business partners, your ecosystem, with your friends and family. I think at the end of the day, you're trying to create a relationship with your customers and business partners. It doesn't matter if you are here in this company today and you're in another company tomorrow, because you bring these relationships with you, and that is important. You can have a Rolodex of 1,000 names. That 1,000 names, you want to pick up the call once you leave Amazon and you go to a small company or ABC. Now that, but if you have the relationship, that person will still pick up your call when you're in the small company. So one of those things my friends say, so yeah, what's the use of, being nice and everything else? But all those big companies are built by founders who are not nice. Steve Jobs, Travis Kalanick, Larry Ellison of Oracle. But then there are also equally large companies who are built by people who are genuinely honest, authentic. Rail leadership. I mean, there are so many examples. If I say HP, you think that it's a business problem. But I think we know that the HP culture is such that it is very well respected. IBM, Walmart even. So these large companies survive and do very well without that ugly, in my terms, ugly kind of culture. So when it comes to what is a visa? Okay, think about it. You can ask me questions later. So very quickly, I'm going to go into external comms. I think this talk is going to finish very quickly. But external communications. So external communications, publicity, thought leadership, trying to be remembered, be on top of mind recall for journalists. So what is it that if you want to talk to journalists, don't talk to them when you have nothing to say. Don't talk to them and don't meet journalists and say, I just want to create a relationship. I just want to get to know you. Nobody has time, especially today. 30 years ago, I could spend one day learning about logic programming and mainframes. Today, no journalist will even spend 10 minutes trying to learn what is They just don't have the time to do that. So only meet a journalist if you really have something to say. So important thing is you have an MVP, a minimal viable product that you can show, at least that is the minimum. Or you really have a disruptive idea. Okay, disruptive is qualitative, right? So what is disruptive in your eyes may not be disruptive in my eyes. But if you are in quantum computing in Singapore, I think you have something disruptive to say. So don't think about that yours, okay, as entrepreneurs, you have to think that yours is the best sliced bread on earth. But I think you've got to be realistic and look at it from the other person's eyes and understand whether that person, this is the best. You will want to meet the media if you've crossed a milestone. If you have, for example, not made $1 million, that is not a milestone. But if you have made $10 million, that's a milestone. $100 million, that's a milestone. Or if you have crossed 1 million customers, that is a milestone. A lot of entrepreneurs want to meet me because they're going to raise funds. So they want to get their name out. So how do you do that? So if you're raising funds, then you must have something to say. So all the above applies, right? You have an MVP, and you have crossed some milestone of sorts. Whether you are in C, Pre-A, Series A, Series B, you would have crossed some milestone of sorts. So all the above applies, then you can go and talk to them. When you talk to the journalists and you explain to them, all the things that we talked about in internal comms comes back, right? Accuracy. Are you giving the right numbers? You know, are you saying the right things? You know, CAGR growth is quite different from year-on-year growth, so you've got to be careful when you talk to them, the language that you use. Not that you have to weigh every word, but you know the sense and the meaning of what you're trying to convey. You have to be accurate. You have to be authentic. Okay. Because I you know, so many years, when I meet people, I can tell straight away it's marketing fluff or it's a real thing, or is it you're trying to top the market up? So be authentic, you know, and say, you know, I'm really small. I think that I've crossed something. I'm only raising $5 million, but this $5 million is going to product development, it is going to hiring data scientists. Give the details so that people know what you're going to do with the money. Journalists are not all business journalists, but because technology today is all pervasive, ubiquitous in every field, some journalists will think that you get $5 million, but immediately you're a millionaire. And there are a couple of stories, except to say, even in the Straits Times, who think that because I raised $10 million, the two co-founders are millionaires. They think the money goes into their pocket. But they don't understand, you see. So you need to explain to them that you're not millionaires overnight. You know, with the $10 million, $5 million, the money goes into somewhere. You are accountable to your investors, to your board if you have one, and at some point you have to pay the money back, whether it is an exit or really even if it's a write-off. In some sense, you have to pay the money back. I think you need to explain because no one understands that. And related to that, to this issue, is what I always say: talking to the converted and talking to the literate. All of us live in this tech bubble. We all know what digital disruption is. We all know what mobile payments is. We all know that one click is the best in the world. Right? Try and talk to that to somebody who is in healthcare and retail. They don't understand what you are talking about. So you have to explain. Right? Number one. Number two, who is your audience? If all of you are selling things, then your audience is the world. Your audience why would you want to only talk to the tech media? The E27s and the technicians, they're my friends, I've got nothing against them. Why would you only want to talk to them? If you are an online grocer, consumer business, why would you want to talk to only the tech media? Because they only hold X percentage, very small one-digit percentage of readers. All of us think here social media very great. We all market for social media. I was just telling a friend from Tech in Asia yesterday, I get nothing on social media, maybe because I don't sign up enough. But I don't know what the offers are on social media. Because for one thing, I don't know. Okay. It's my way, it's my usage pattern. I have to drop my name or sign up for things because I don't like spam. But social media is not only the only way to reach your customers. You have to think that there is a mainstream media today. It still exists. So the mainstream media may not be, you may not want to advertise with them, but their reach is unbeatable, at least in this part of the world. In the US, it's a different story because that is a different environment. Here, the environment is, in Asia, the environment is quite different. So even if, I'm sure you'll travel, you just go into Hong Kong, everybody is reading something. In Hong Kong, you still have magazines, Chinese magazines being sold. Okay, English is on the way up, but you see the number of Chinese magazines, Chinese newspapers, the same in Taipei, the same in Japan, the same in Korea. So it means that your mainstream media, your analog media, still works. So have a thought. Don't just talk to the converted. You need to talk to reach to the unconverted. So if that is the case, then you need to break out of the tech bubble and talk to the rest of the world. Okay, I'll end here and see if you have any questions.
I have one.
Okay.
I think you have a good point in terms of approaching journalists, right? But the worry about from a lot of us who are in the startup environment, right, is that because we do not know the journalists, right? We worry that things might be out of perspective, you know what I mean? So is there any advice, right, when we talk to journalists, should we put them towards a certain direction, which I think they don't like, because most good journalists want an angle, you know what I mean? And because we're not journalists trained, right, most of the startup don't have an angle. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So this thing goes round and round and round and round, and that's why I think most startup thinks that it's easier to go social network, right? And that I can tell the world what I want to tell the world, right or wrong. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Right? So some guys does it better, some guys does it worse, right? But by talking to an individual like a journalist, they are worried, Well, what is your advice for the guys?
You need to think of a story. It's all about storytelling, right? So you need to think of a story. So what is the story that you want to say? What is the story that you want to tell your grandmother? If your grandmother understands what you are selling, then the journalist will understand what you are selling. You tell your grandmother, use your phone, you just wave it, she may not understand. Right? But if you explain to her and say that, no need to use money, there is this device called the phone, press against the terminal and it will take money from your bank automatically. So you need to be able to tell a story, whether the story is an anecdote or whether the story is told in a graphical form, as in do up a cartoon or a set of graphics, or you have a story that you have created in your mind. So you need to sit down and think about it. I understand, there are many, if you are in deep science, it is quite difficult. easier, of course, but if you get a young journalist, you're going to have trouble because they can't join the dots. So they can't join the dots, that's the most dangerous. So you need to spoon feed in many ways. So you need to spoon feed by giving them the background. What is the background? What is the market, right, for example? So the market is A, I'm trying to do B. So in B, these are the things that I'm trying to do, 1, 2, 3. So you need to spoon feed quite a bit. If you're talking to me about deep science, advanced manufacturing, it's quite different. Because I would have seen enough, I've made enough factory visits, and I know enough about the technology to say, yes, it's like this, like this, like this. So I can join the dots. So sometimes it's a lottery. You get the young journalist, or you get the older journalist. But the thing is to be prepared to spoon feed as much as you can.
Yeah, I guess to Chuck's point, as a startup these days, you can also research about journalists, what they write about.
Yes.
Is there a right fit for you to go even bother to talk to them, right?
Sometimes but sometimes they may not send the person, you see. That's the challenge.
Yeah.
So your invitation will go to a general pool, and then they decide. If it's picked up, then they will send someone. So even if you send the invitation to a Miss Tan will say, give it to the boss and say, hey boss, I received this. Then the boss will say, yes you go, yes you don't go, or somebody else goes. So sometimes it's difficult. It's not easy. Have you had bad experiences with journalists?
No, not bad experience. I mean, a lot of experience has been pretty good, except that sometimes when people call me up, right, and ask me a question, right, I do not know what is the basis of the question.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Then I get quoted out of context, because they just wanted a soundbite, So those are not bad experience, I would say. I mean, it doesn't hurt me a lot, but it just, this is really not what I meant, right? But not with you, not with you.
So it's okay. No problem. No, I think that when you're already in people's minds, that means Chuck on somebody's Rolodex is on top of my recall with somebody. I think the important thing is what story are you trying to write before I answer that. Okay, what's the background? And then okay, this is the background, this is my response. So you then tailor your response accordingly.
I have maybe there's no offense to any journalist, but the viewpoints some of my friends has that kind of see a pattern that sometimes the startup is stocked up too early, and many of them all died. So sometimes you don't want to bounce it in, or they're not ready for it. To be honest, really, because I noticed many of them died very early on the way.
I'm sure that I've covered numerous, and I'm sure that out of the numerous I've covered, I'm sure that at least 70% would have closed shop.
No, I have a different perspective because I actually judge a lot of competitions as well, right?
Yeah.
And the question is always asked, if I give out this prize, right, will the guy die in 2 years' time, right? That is always the question, right?
Yeah.
But the reality is that then you go back, what is the purpose of the competition?
Yes.
If the competition is there to showcase a certain period, right, last year to this year, it doesn't matter 5 years from now another die, right? Because they've achieved whatever they've achieved within that period.
Okay.
So similarly to me, no news is bad news, right, from that perspective, because it's always time sensitive, you see.
Yeah.
I think it's also you want to write that there is activity in the ecosystem. It's not just about that particular company. So I take it from that point of view. So I do meet very young companies that are only 6 months, and they do have an MVP, so they get $250,000, for example, from Spring, and then they can go and do their own thing. I have my colleagues who will not cover anything that is just seed. They want to do everything that's only Series A. So be it. So that's the way they define, because it is difficult to say who to cover. Right. For me, I would select based on who are the founders. If the founder is, for example, 80 years old, hey, that's interesting. You know, if the founder is 8 years old, oh, very interesting. So I'm looking for unique things, right? So I'm looking for what is happening in the ecosystem. Bear in mind that even if I don't write a story, I also benefit. You also benefit because I remember you. You know, fail or succeed, I will remember you. You are, you know, you become a contact. The next time you will contact me again, or I will contact you for something else. So I think it is building a relationship. Yes.
You know so many startups, and you've written many articles on that. You've seen many entrepreneurs also.
Sorry?
You've seen many entrepreneurs.
Yes.
And venture capitalists.
Yes.
And all kinds of people, all the sites. Could you be able to judge, meeting them, these guys will be successful or not?
How to judge which startup company is going to be successful? I give 1,000% to entrepreneurship. The business idea, I'm not in a position to judge. For me, it is, which way is the wind blowing? I can't judge. If I could have judged and made my picks, I won't have to work, right? But the point is, you want to give the idea a chance to live. You want to give the company a chance to live. I think that is important. You will know that I'm an insider because I have a vested interest as well to see this work. You know, I'm not here just to write a story and then disappear tomorrow. So I will say that I don't judge. I just pick according to the uniqueness of the story, the uniqueness of the venture capitalist, of the investor, entrepreneur, and then I write the story.
Grace, first of all, congrats on your launch of the book.
Oh, thank you.
It's a long time coming.
Long time. Incubating for a long time. I launched a book yesterday called Intelligent Island, The Untold Story of Singapore's Tech Journey.
It's come in paper today.
Yes, it is. Sorry.
Being media savvy or com savvy is not something, as you said, there's within a lot of founders, right? Because a lot of them come from either a tech background or business background. So how do they get to be savvy? That's one. And at which point of the growth of a company does one hire a communications person or a media person?
Okay, how to become media savvy and when to hire a PR agency? That's your question, right? Okay. Media savviness is natural, like Chuck here. It's quite natural. I mean, I met him when he was starting his first company, Finesse. I mean, long time ago. But I think the thing is, as I explained earlier, authentic. You know, I am doing this business. It is real. I mean, you go to his company, you can see people running around. It is a real business. So you know, so you don't have to be like smooth. You can have rough edges, but I think you come across as I really am trying to run a business. I really have this product. You think about it, of course, before you speak to the media. Think about the story you want to see. Think about the story that you want to see the next day. What kind of headlines do you think you want it written? So think about it from that point of view, and then prepare your story and then speak. Whether you hire a PR agency, at which point depends on, from the PR agency's point of view, whether you have the money to do it. So it takes anywhere from $3,000 to $7,000 retainer fee, right, a month. So at any time you can. It's not like you can't. But you should do it when you really have something that you want to tell the world, that it's ready to be launched and ready to be sold. You shouldn't go out and hire a PR agency when you are just building for growth. When you're ready to scale, you're ready to hit that hockey stick, that's the time when you should hire a PR agency. Because you do not want to be bothered about the nuts and bolts of trying to go and get media to cover your story. You should be thinking about how you want to scale on that hockey stick. You know, that's where your focus should be. So good media will be able to then advise you what strategy you should take. And then you need to think about whether it is local. I mean, everyone is born global today, so you need at least an agency that can take you to the region.
I guess it's also a question of balance of, you're using the media for what purpose? Because like the business I will be looking more into getting enterprise customers, right? Then it's important for us to communicate regularly maybe through blogs or articles, so that the search engines, you get very easier. And there has to be authentic articles, authentic cases.
Yeah, and it has also not to be marketing fluff.
No, yeah, exactly.
Right? You need to have thought leadership. So if you're selling to B2B, even in a B2B space, then thought leadership is obviously very important. So you either write it yourself or you pay somebody to do the research and write it. So there are two ways of doing this. I think in B2B business, you do not need that. You need more consistent and regular media. So blogs is one, contributory articles to publications is another. So, and if it's a business kind of thing, then look for the business magazines.
Yeah. So your earlier point about percentage is important.
Yes.
You have to find the right audience.
You have to find the right audience.
I've got a question from Canada.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
So the point is that, many years ago when I first started off, there aren't many mentors around. But now you have a lot more tech mentors, right? The question he has is that, are there enough journalist type mentors, right? That the startup can go to a mentor and say, hey, when is the time? How do we see? Because their whole entire space is actually not open. If you think about it, right? It's a very privileged space.
That's a business idea, man.
Yeah. So the question is that would there be possibility of creating a writers mentor group, right, or PR mentor group, or do you know of any existing?
I don't. PR mentor group, the PR agencies who want to charge you for that advice. So I don't think that will work. A good business mentor might be able to give you some media mentoring. A journalist mentoring a company, I haven't seen that, but there's certainly something to look at. I think people don't see that yet. Their first step is they always want to go and hire a PR agency, right? But I mean, Chuck and you and I have spoken on this before, and we've tested ideas before. So I think this kind of communication, and I do have a couple of friends who test ideas to see not really the mentoring, but the testing of ideas. This is something that's going to happen. Do you think if I say it this way, you think will it go down well? So these testing of ideas is also like bouncing off a wall. I think that's useful. It's coffee chat, essentially.
I mean, it's a leading question, right? Now that you're retired, right?
Am I retired? I don't know.
What are you occupying your time with, Right? What are the exciting things that you're doing,
Writing still excites me. Now that the book is launched, there is a second phase to the book. We're putting the book on digital platform. That's one. And two, we are looking at, there were several people that we missed in version 1, in edition 1, we will add to in edition 2. And then I'm continuing to write original reporting in TecHour, which is a Singapore-based website.
Any question for Grace?
So are journalists in
what I said that you're trying to allude to?
Because I feel that sometimes the American journalists tend to be edgier. Singaporeans tend to, because of many unsaid rules and conditions, tend to have a tone that can be seen as not so edgy or exciting.
Well,
Because like for example, if you take TecHour, they tend to be on the edge when it comes to, and they can be fairly aggressive with certain entrepreneurs.
I think it's the way you write. It is not about whether they're edgier or not. I mean, I can ask you the same question, but it's the way I write and the headlines I write. So I can choose a deadly headline that you may not like, you know, or I choose a more general headline. So it's all in the writing. The questions will all appear the same. I mean, I can ask the questions in a very aggressive form, in a very harsh tone, you know. Or I can ask the question in another way. So it's all semantics. So it's not about whether they are better or we are worse. It's all about semantics. One, I think we need to recognize that our mother tongue is not really English. So our facility with the language, I will have colleagues who will scold me, but that's not our first language. So for the majority of us, we are not as fluent as we think we are. Right? So for them, their fluency and a different way of writing.
You got another question?
Yes.
Can I have your perspective of how the tech scene or the startup scene? I think we need a macro kind of view of Singapore. I mean, are you hopeful? Are you pessimistic?
The macro scene of startups in Singapore, I'm very hopeful. And I think that we, over the last at least 7 to 10 years, we have put in the infrastructure and the government support, the government programs to support entrepreneurs. One can say that there's too much support, and therefore the startups themselves, the entrepreneurs themselves are not doing a lot. So it's arguable, right? But I think that we are at the right place at the right time. The correct policies are in place. It's just whether we can, you know, get that growth as quickly as we want.
So are you seeing a change in the cultural shift? Because when I did my first time in 1999, it was very hard to sell these companies here until I sold to the US and came back. Now I see a shift, but it's still not fast enough, I feel. I don't know.
It is still not fast enough, you're correct. There are people who need to go overseas, sell their, you know, not even their product or their software, even clothes, even creativity, you know, shoes, whatever. They sell overseas, they are successful, and then they come back to sell, oh, we are very successful in the US, or they come back as a US brand, and then suddenly, you know, the local company becomes famous. So there is still that perception. It's very difficult to break. But I see, because of the publicity that the startups are now getting across the board all over, every minister is talking about startup and entrepreneurship, whether they are in that particular field or not. Everybody wants to be part of the game, and because everybody wants to be part of the game, the conversation has gone up. And once the conversation has gone up, this is Singapore, very typical Singapore. Parents would say, "Oh yes, now this is our children can now become entrepreneurs," and so you then lift, you know.
Yeah. I'm looking for the customer perspective, you know, like even the government itself, you know, the way they purchase things, right? So for example, in the US, one of my early customers, and I'm still a very small startup, they bought us only because we solved their problem. And they, of course, they were concerned whether we'd be a surviving entity. So they spoke to our venture funding. See, I will support you. So they bought it. I mean, we were competing against the HPs and the others, and we got it. So for them, for us, it's a huge win. It really helped us survive. You know? That I find, you know.
This is, again, I agree with you. I think that this is a learning curve for our private sector to learn how to buy local, to learn how to buy from small startups. They still thinking about whether he will survive. Let me give you an example. As a small, 10-man company, who sets up my internet for me? My son, who is tech savvy, my cousin, who is tech savvy, and then they set up the entire, network in my office. And then they go to school somewhere else, and then something breaks, and then who's going to, So the same attitude, right, when they go to buy products, right? So they see, but they don't understand, right? So, but this is at the back of their minds, You buy from a small company tomorrow, they will not hear. They'll fly by night. Because 30 years ago, this was what it was. But they forget that 30 years ago, they were like that too.
Yeah.
And, small. And they have grown. So they ought to be giving back to business. But it will take time. If we are getting there, it will take time.
Any questions? Pizza is not here though. So we have to ask more questions.
Yes?
I think, see the risk-taking ability again.
The what?
Risk-taking ability.
Risk.
Before, people were not used to leave their job and start a company. Now it is happening, especially last 5-6 years. Even though if you may be working for a multinational, you might be working for a government agency, the moment you start a company, it doesn't have any resources. You will be thinking that everything is like what it was before. And sometimes they are the first guys to fail. Do you experience this kind of thing before?
I have seen examples of this happening, but I think the attitudes are also changing. One of the entrepreneur I featured in my book yesterday told me that he has his eldest son changed from a JC to a poly because he wants to become a chef. So I said the father will open a restaurant for him. He says yes. So I think that attitudes are changing, and parents are allowing their children to follow their dreams. Don't forget that there are many lawyers who didn't end up as lawyers, right? Tan Ming Liang of Razor is a real good example.
Awfully chocolate.
Yes, so you've got so many lawyers who have become good business people. So it will take time, but I think we are at that tipping point.
Okay.
So I guess going back to the first topic about the culture, I mean, in a way, we do all this external publicity, but the message is that, I guess, internally, if you don't have that culture, things will leak out immediately.
Yes.
Things will leak out.
That's right. And if we are all in the digital business today. So if your people are also not digital, and your culture is not one of a digital culture, how are you going to be ambassadors for the company? So I think you need to think about that.
Yeah. Because in today's day, well, I mean, like, for example, if I look at a company, this is what they publicly say. I go to Glassdoor and find out what's internally happening,
There's so many ways of finding out today, right?
Yeah. So that's how we do due diligence on potential investors and stuff.
Oh, okay. That's good.
Yes, quite interesting because early part of the year we have Joe Augustine, right, giving hints on presentation, and it is consistent that he says also that very much like you say, the story is very important. So when you present, you need to have a story. I guess it's the same thing. When you talk to a journalist, right, you have to have a story,
Yes.
right, to make it exciting, to make it writable. The pizza is not here, so we can still mingle around, but I'll close this session formally. Please join me to thank Grace for sharing. My pleasure. Okay, I think Carol is chasing the pizza guy, but he should be coming soon. All right.
Thank you.
And congratulations again, Grace and Rama, for the publishing of your book yesterday.
Yeah, that's right.